Before we get started, let's announce last week's $100 Thor gift card winner.
What happened?
I won.
Tonight on Behind the Details with Chelsea with special guest Rick from RAD Garage.
Maybe they have a separate career that they love, but they also have a passion for detailing. Because I think a lot of people I see within different detailing Facebook groups, they will put out there the question, how do I get companies to send me products to review? Like, How did you get into that position? Did you seek them, or did they pursue you after they saw your channel growing?
I really appreciate that question because I don't think I've ever spoken about this. The first Adams order that came in was about $2,000 Canadian. And I just about passed out. Yeah, exactly.
Like winter detailing, especially, you could have some valid input, for those that are up north that are dealing with this. Because I feel like my winter is nowhere near your winter.
No, it is not. It is not anywhere near.
Yours is like winter on steroids. Comes to winter detailing, I feel like you might have a little bit of an advantage having experienced it. What would you say are some of your go-to products for winter detailing?
When people tell me that I need to be more this, or I have to do this, or I should try that, I'm kind of like, nah, I'm not your puppet. I know you mean it. The intentions are positive. But it also gets even more it puts more pressure on me. So now I have to try to, I'm going to outsmart it all. I just like the beauty and art of the detailing process. Always have, always will.
Such a groove for me. I just love that intro. I don't know why.
Oh, you've really nailed it, Chelsea. That is a great intro.
It's an 80s song. I don't know why. It just kind of took me back to my childhood. It felt like it was appropriate. All right, guys. Welcome to the show. I am so glad that you guys could join us. Now, this is actually a pre-recorded episode, but we're going to be airing this after the New Year's. I am so glad to have my friend Rick from RAD Garage on the show. Rick and I got to know and meet one another last year at the Creator Summit. I know we've had a lot of people on from the Creator Summit, but I figured I want to have my friends on, people that I just felt like we got each other. And Rick, I got you. Like, we just clicked. I really loved our interactions together. I think you were some of the highlight of the Creator Summit for me was just getting to know you. And I wanted other people to kind of have that privilege. And so thank you for joining me tonight.
Well, thank you for inviting me. What such a lovely intro. That Creator Summit was something else, wasn't it? I don't think I'll ever be able to top an experience like that.
No, I do feel like it was definitely like a once in a lifetime opportunity for many of us. And I think I kind of wish Jason would do something like that again, but who knows? I know people are trying to duplicate it maybe in the future. But anyways, I know that on my podcast, we've taken a closer look at many different aspects of the detailing industry, anywhere from having a home-based detailing business to a shop to mobile. And I feel like your take on having a detailing career is what a lot of people kind of have or aspire to have. And so, Rick, let's start off first off, like, what is it that you do for a living? Where do you live? I think that will kind of help set the stage for a lot of our viewers.
All right. Well, thank you. I am a teacher. I teach currently grade 7 social studies and language arts in my
grade 7. Oh, God bless you.
I love them. I love grade 7.
I have a 7th grade son, and oh my goodness. It takes a special person to teach that grade.
I think parenting a grade 7 might be harder than teaching a grade 7.
Maybe.
There's rules and protocols in place at school that I don't know if all homes have, but
you do get the best of them, and we probably get the worst of them.
God bless us all. We're all doing our work. It's a team. It's a team project. But I teach grade 7. I've been a teacher from early grades in elementary to I think the highest grade I've ever taught is grade 7, and I've been teaching since 1997. So
wow.
Hard to believe because I look so young. But anyway,
That's the 7th graders right there.
that's got to be the 7th graders. And I've been very fortunate to work at an amazing school here in Calgary for the last, I think it's 17 years. And I have the privilege and honor of working with my wife too, who teaches grade 8.
That's awesome.
So we work together, and we've worked together almost our entire teaching careers from the beginning. So we used to teach overseas at a few different international schools until we came home in 2008. But when I came home in 2008 and started teaching full time, we bought a home. And during that process of planning the new home, I became a little obsessed with my garage. So it sort of became a place to escape the stresses of being a teacher, being, just a person. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stresses. So little by little, my garage took on a life of its own, and I started sharing pictures of it on different online forums. And I'd always enjoyed washing my own car and keeping my own car as clean as can be. So I started assembling little displays of different products that I was using. And it really went to another level when I installed a race deck floor. And those pictures got picked up by the internet. And next thing I knew, I had people reaching out to me, just asking if they had questions about different aspects of my garage. So I created a website, and then I had this wonderful garage, and I started to get more and more into detailing. And then I discovered, Car Supply Warehouse. I think what was Auto Geek, back in the day. And I went on a little bit of a rampage, a purchasing rampage. And like a lot of people do, I went a little overboard. I see people doing it now, and I'm like, that was me 15 years ago. But in the last, I'd say 5 or 6 years, I think I've kind of met, I guess I could say I've peaked as to what I want to achieve. I've got my garage set up like my own personal detailing studio. And I have, curated a collection of videos of me doing different detailing projects through my YouTube channel. And I've created a lot of friendships, a lot of relationships like the one you and I have. That's all from me building a spiffy garage and putting it out there on the internet. And I've really enjoyed this interesting development of where I've got to.
When you're teaching 7th grade, so you're in Canada, you said Calgary?
Right, yeah, Calgary, Canada, yeah.
What is the calendar for teaching? Is it very similar to the US? Like, do you guys have summers off and things like that?
Yeah, we don't have, I think you guys have more summer holiday than my school. My school has what we call a year-round calendar. So
okay.
We have a lot more professional development days on Fridays.
Okay.
And so to make up for that, we have a bit of a shorter summer break. So I have 2 weeks in the spring, 2 weeks at the holidays right now. And then I have about 6 or 7 weeks in the summer. So I can't complain. It's about 10 or 11 weeks of holidays a year. Okay. And that has really been, without those holidays, I don't think I would be able to have developed this hobby to where it is now. So I got to thank my teaching profession. I got to thank me for choosing the profession, because it does allow for a lot of downtime.
So, but you said it's pretty much Monday through Friday. Like, what time are you coming home from school?
Oh, so our school day starts at about 8:30 and ends at 3:10.
Okay.
So I'm usually home by 4:30.
That's not too bad for middle school.
What's that?
I said that's not too bad for middle school. My son has to be on the bus by 6:50. I think they start at like 7:15, but they're out by like 3.
Wow. Yeah. So maybe that has something to do with, I think you get a lot more holidays in June if you go.
Yeah. Well, we're pretty much like sometimes near the end of May, beginning of June, but then we'll go through to almost the middle to end of August before school starts up.
Yeah. My school ends usually the last day of June.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I get so jealous watching it, because that's prime detailing weather here.
Yeah, it is.
Right, June. But June is my busiest month at work. We've got the final report cards. But yeah, I try to sneak in as much as I can in June. But yeah, I don't really start my holidays till July, and we go back before the end of August. So my summer break goes pretty quick, and
Yeah,
I
I can
try
imagine.
to do as many projects as I can. But I also want to enjoy my summer holidays. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I need the downtime, and I get home at 4:30, but I get home pretty mentally exhausted a lot of days. It's a lot of dealing with kids. There's a lot of decision making that goes into my day. I probably make 1,000 decisions a day, and just by the time I get home, I don't really want to take on a big project. I might, clean my own car, but yeah, I'm not a spring chicken anymore.
None of us really are, Rick. I mean, I just turned 40 this year, so I can relate, but
I remember 40. It was a long time ago.
I wouldn't have guessed you were much more than that. So you
Well,
definitely
thank
have
you.
the soul of a younger spirit.
Thank
Um,
you.
so when it comes to detailing, then how do you manage to get customers in plus filming and editing? Because that adds a whole nother layer of time and management to that. If you're
Yeah.
working, most of the week with school and you come home and you're just kind of like, I got
Yeah.
nothing left.
I don't know if I really have customers. I have, so my online presence connects me with car enthusiasts,
Okay.
and there's quite a few where I live. And um, so what happens basically is I meet someone through someone, and he says, "You got to check out this guy's YouTube channel. His videos are insane." And then I'll hear back a couple weeks later from that person, and they'll be like, "Hey, if you ever want to take my car on for a project, I would love that." And I'm like, "Well, let's get together, bring it over." And we just sort of set the scope of what really needs to be done or what doesn't. And I've done some comprehensive multi-day projects, and then I've done some glamorous car washes. And really, it just comes down to what that person's comfortable with and what my schedule looks like. And it's quite, what's the word? It's organic that way. I
Yeah.
don't advertise. I don't ever go seeking people's business. So it's an odd sort of like, how do I explain it? It's almost like I don't go looking for business, so I become more mysterious to some people. How do I get him to feature my car in one of his videos? And 95% of people coming to me in any way, shape, or form, they really like the video. That's to them, that's their pride and joy being spoiled on film. So that has always been the aspect that has allowed me to connect with people. So, terrible business plan. Um,
I mean,
no adver-
do you get paid by the customer or do you do all that for free just to get the ad commission and stuff?
I used to do a lot of free stuff. I
Okay.
used to because I enjoy it.
Mhm.
And, this is the unfortunate part of being in that influencer sphere. Money starts to matter
Yeah.
because you need to sort of justify the amount of time that you're putting into these things that you could be putting elsewhere.
Mhm.
So I do charge people, but it's really dependent on,
The
like,
scope.
yeah, and I'm a slow worker. I'm not a professional. Like a profession, even like an experienced amateur would watch my process and say, "You're taking way too much time on that wheel." And I'm like, "Quiet down. This is why I like doing this, because I can take my time." So if someone were to bring in a car that needs to be cleaned and maybe paint corrected, I would tell them I'm going to need that for at least 20 hours.
Okay.
And that allows me to do the video in a way that I'm proud of and they'll enjoy, and it'll yield the results hopefully that I'm happy with and he's happy with or she's happy with. So, and then I charge an hourly rate, but I always go over my time estimate. I don't know. You're smiling. You must do the same thing, but
No, I
no.
just I do try, being a mom and I do this as a business. I have learned a few years into it that even if I go over that estimate, I will call the customer and say it's going to cost more.
Good for
You
you.
know, this was your budget. So if we're sticking to this budget, we're going to have to give up something that you wanted to have done to meet your budget, or we're going to have to increase the budget. Typically, they'll increase the budget because they want the work done, but there are a few that will say, thanks for giving me the option. Let's eliminate the interior. I want to focus on this more, or vice versa. But having met you, and when we did our video together with Jason Rose and seeing kind of your creative take on things, I can see how you would just really want it to be done well. And
Yeah.
so I think for you, quality matters versus quantity in that
Quality
way.
quality is definitely the outcome. I want, and I think all detailers, whether you're like a weekend warrior, amateur, or full on professional, that moment when the customer sees the car when you've finished is the climax of it all. And that's really addictive, actually. And when they see the video and then they text me later, just, oh, it's unbelievable what you do, that keeps me going. But yeah, you pursue this as a career. I do not. This is beer money for me. This is money that I reinvest into the garage. I've joked a few times, but it's not a joke. My son's hockey gets more and more expensive every year, and YouTube doesn't pay the bills.
No, no.
I, I think if people realize how much work you put into YouTube and how much YouTube pays you, it's a terrible business relationship. But I've been fortunate to have some affiliate partners who help, subsidize what I do. And unfortunately, that becomes a job in itself, is managing that financial side of things, which I really have no desire to do, because that's not what I really like. I like cleaning cars and watching people's reactions when they see the end result. So,
Well, and
yeah,
then it gets cloudy because people
Mhm.
then think because you're getting money from this company that they've bought your opinion. And even if you in negotiation with that company say, "Listen, I will share it, but you're not getting like if I don't like it." And I don't know, maybe do you agree?
Mhm.
Do you have this same take? If you don't like a product, I just don't review it because I would rather not put out a negative opinion out there. I just, it's
Yeah,
just not for me. I don't promote a product if I don't like it. Um,
yeah.
but when a company is paying you for stuff, I'm just like, well, I'm not going to get money for that because I'm not going to review it. And I tell them that up front. How is it for you when you're working with products that you're like, oh God, like it's okay.
Yeah, so I've never taken money from a brand.
Okay.
I've never accept any payment. I accept big packages of their products, and honest to God, I still love that.
Okay.
When I come home and there's a cardboard box on my porch and I'm just like, "Oh, it's the, Armor Detail Supply sent me some stuff." But I was sort of naive. I thought I'm not really promoting these products. I'm just showcasing them.
Okay.
That was my mindset, but I realize now, of course I'm promoting them if I'm showing them to my audience. I'm
Hmm.
promoting it. But I don't do the reviews. My channel. I don't go, I'm going to take this product from this brand and I'm going to do a review of it. I just use them.
Hmm.
And a lot of times when you see products used in my video, I might be using it for the very first time. And over the years, people have sort of implored me into like sharing more of my critical analysis of the performance of these products. And I've, I don't have that vocabulary. I don't like, you spray it on and it works, is really that justifies, or that sort of typifies 90% of the products I use. I spray them, I wipe them, it works.
Yeah.
So I've never really developed into that like forensic detailing review channel. I'm
Yeah.
more of like, send me your product and I will thank you for that. And you may see it showcased in videos going forward, or you may not. I don't set any expectation, but I think it's implied when a company sends you $1,000 worth of product. I don't know how I would be able to be. I don't think I could be non-biased. I, I don't. That's just me. I know there are some people out there that are, very neutral, but that's not me. I like you when you send me free stuff, and I will feature it because you're helping me enjoy what I love to do. And so I'm an influencer, but I'm not like an influencer by design. That said, I've developed a love for some brands like Gion, DIY Detail, products that I just keep going back to, Coach Kemi. I've got my favorites, but like right now there is someone who sent me a lot of their product, and I haven't really had the organic opportunity to feature their products.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like feeling a little bit guilty about it, but it was never really, we didn't sit down and sign a contract, but I do feel a little bit of a personal obligation when you go flatter me by sending me things. I want to showcase it, but then we got the weather to deal with as well. So detailing this time of year is a very frustrating process.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And I mean, I want to touch on that in a second, because I feel like winter detailing, especially, you could have some valid input, for those that are up north that are dealing with this. Because I feel like my winter is nowhere near your winter.
No, it is not. It is not anywhere near.
Yours is like winter on steroids. But, as far as, because I think a lot of people I see within different detailing Facebook groups, they will put out there the question, how do I get companies to send me products to review? Like, how did you get into that position? Did you seek them, or did they pursue you after they saw your channel growing?
God, I really appreciate that question, because I don't think I've ever spoken about this. So I was putting together videos probably going back 10 years. And I put together some videos now that I would not be able to watch without cringing, just because my style is advanced. But there was a guy named Nick, who worked at Jay Leno's Garage.
Okay.
And I didn't really know much about all the different lines out there. And he reached out to me once through my website. I had a contact me page, and I still do if anyone wants to contact me. And he said, I'd love to send you some Jay Leno's products. And I was like, what? This is amazing. And like, I was like a 9-year-old kid just jumping for joy. Like, what? And, he sent me a virtual gift card, and I went on the Jay Leno's Garage website and I went shopping, and it was like the endorphins. It was amazing. And I counted down the hours until that package arrived, and then it arrived, and I was just over the moon, and it took a while for me to realize that, that's really good guerrilla marketing for a company, is that organic. Here are some YouTubers getting the name out. So I wasn't doing reviews of his products, but I was very proudly showcasing them in a lot of the videos I was producing at the time.
They're actually pretty decent products. I would.
Yeah.
I did enjoy them.
And then, of course, there had to be the controversy of who was behind the products and whatnot. And I didn't get caught up in that. Never will. Then this person moved to Adams.
Oh boy.
And that took it to a whole other level. So I don't want to reveal too much of, like, I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but I think his job was to go out and find influencers, low level influencers. I think my channel,
they're cheap.
They're very well. They're so cheap.
They're free.
I'm still cheap, anyways. And I think the first Adams order that came in was about $2,000 Canadian, and I just about passed out. Yeah, exactly. And that really just, I'm in for life. So, and then more videos. And then
I've never tried Adams. I have to say that I've never tried them. Never. Everyone always asks me about them, and I'm like, I don't know why. I've just never felt the need.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? What should I try from Adams? Let me know. What would you say, Rick?
I love their all-in-one wheel and tire cleaner.
Okay.
And the rubber mat and liner cleaner. I don't know if it's still available though.
Is it similar to like McKee's tire and rubber rejuvenator?
Haven't used that one.
You should.
There's so many products I haven't used that I just we could go down a rabbit hole. It's a very slippery slope, as we all know. But
Jamie and Eddie, hook the man up.
there was a time where I was on Instagram and I was like, you know what, I'm going to reach out. I can't remember the company. I went to the DMs and just said, hey, I'm Rick from RAD Garage. I'm really interested in trying your products. And they came back with, Rick, we're a huge fan of your channel. And I was like, what?
You know me?
And it sort of, it left a mark. And I'm like, maybe I am definitely not a big shot, but maybe I'm not a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's probably 30 companies now that I enjoy a relationship with on some level. And it continues to grow. But we're at a time in the year right now because snow's everywhere. The roads are mucky. I don't have, my glasses are crooked. Hold on. I hate
You're
that.
fine. Mine are always crooked too with the headset. It's fine.
And then when you do it in there, it's always backwards. And
yeah.
Okay.
Now they're really bad. I got to
get
we're
new
good.
glasses. Well, I should tell you, I don't know if you knew this, but I had a pretty bad accident the other day.
No,
Did you?
I didn't
get
know.
onto this? On Friday, we were curling. Do you know what curling is?
Yes, I do.
The ice sport. Mm-hmm. And I slipped and went back, and I almost knocked myself right out. So I'm post-concussion, doing very well.
Don't move your head too quick.
Yeah, I feel like I got a bit of a chest pain here from just the maybe whiplash, but I came out very, very lucky. But my glasses survived the fall, but I think they're a little bent. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. Companies. Yeah, this time of year, I could wash my car every week, but that gets boring to do a video of the same car getting washed using different products or even the same products. Just to me, it's too boring.
Yeah.
And too much work goes into my videos for me just to do that. But I can't really convince anyone to bring me a car right now because our car's
just going to get dirty. Yep.
Like literally 5 to 10 minutes later, your car's as dirty as it was when you brought it to me. Because right now we're in a bit of a dry spell. We haven't had snow for about 2 weeks. So the roads are dusty, but they're not muddy. But it's just like we were going to talk about winter. Our winter has 3 winters within it. We have the brutal cold winter where it's minus 30 degrees Celsius. That one, your car actually can stay pretty clean because everything is frozen. But it's the milder part of winter where all of that snow starts to melt. And then the salt that we put down to help that melting process, that gets mixed into this slurry of mud and water. And that just cakes my car. I'm sure you've seen pictures on Instagram of how gray and crusty my car gets. That can happen after 10 minutes of driving on a wet winter road. And then we have plus 10 and above winter days, which confuses me into thinking summer's coming. So we have, and it can all change in a single day. So there's never a dull moment here in winter. We never know what we're going to get, but no matter what we get, keeping your car clean is ridiculous. There's no expectation that your car will stay clean in the winter. So for me to get someone to bring me, and then there's another thing is a lot of my friends that have nice cars that look great in videos, they don't drive them in the winter.
Yeah, they probably put them away.
They drive them in the winter with very not so nice winter wheels and tire packages. So they don't really want to see, it would be like, doing a modeling shoot in your PJs. Like you want to wear your best clothing, right? So if you don't have the right wheels on your car and you don't want to even drive it in the winter, I just have there's no one for me to use as a muse in my videos from about November till about March. Unless
they just don't mind helping provide a vehicle for content and then it just gets dirty. So
yeah, and then I can't. Like if I spend the amount of time I take, like I'll spend 8 hours on an interior. I will. And people will let me. They'll be whatever you want. But when I know that within 10 minutes, their boots are going to bring in salty water, I just can't do it. It's too much of an investment. At least it's on, if I did a video, it sort of memorializes the process, but I just can't do it. So
Now, do you feel like a lot of Canadian detailers have the same mentality when it comes, like, do they shut down in the winter, or are there other, Canadian detailers that they just push through? They're like, we're going to do what the customer asks, regardless if it gets dirty 5 minutes out of the shop.
I think the thing that keeps Canadian detailers going, and I know a few pros, is paint protection film. That is a huge thing here. There's a lot of people now that invest in having paint protection film installed over the entire exterior of a vehicle. That's a very expensive. It's probably $5,000 or $6,000 Canadian, but when you're talking about 100,000 plus car, it's really 5%. And we have so many rocks, small gravel rocks on the road in the winter for traction. They call it traction aid. We just get peppered all year, all winter long. Our cars are getting peppered by stones. Like, my windshield is terrible. It's the original windshield, and I haven't got a major crack, but it's just been chipped away. It's almost like sandblasted. But if you don't do paint protection film, because people are buying cars all year round, people buy them in the winter, and then I think they take it to a detail center to have it properly installed, like a professional PPF install. I don't know if they're doing many paint corrections and ceramic coatings during the winter. I just don't see the average Calgarian, with everything else going on in their lives in the winter, thinking, today's a good day to spend a couple $1,000 on the appearance of my vehicle. So I would imagine, because I've fantasized about opening my own shop, like, I'll drive around Calgary and I'll see a location. I'll be like, that's where RAD Garage would be. But I think it would be really tough in the winter. I think there'd be some lonely days where there was no business. But maybe I'm naive. But maybe you shift. Do you have like something like the Bays in Chicago?
Yeah.
Where you can come in and do their own washes? Because car washes do get, somewhat busy on those days where the weather is mild, because people have to get the salt off at some point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of DIY coin washes.
But, well, I know Jason just opened up a franchise. I can't remember the exact location, but man, if someone wants to get in with Rick and invest some money and open up a Bays in Calgary, like, that would probably be a fantastic business model, because I would imagine that is it a big car show scene in the area where you live? Like, do they typically have higher, ticket vehicles? Because a lot of the vehicles that I see in your videos, you've got a lot of Audis, Porsches. They seem to be higher end vehicles. And I mean, you're probably selective. You're not, like a Honda CRV. Let's do it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just did one the other day.
We've all detailed a lot of Honda CRVs. I know I have in the past. I just probably haven't featured any on videos. But no, this city is, like, I can't speak for all of Canada, but I'll say Calgary is a mecca for high-end vehicles, especially on the west side of the city where I live. It's like, my son and I used to go get a Slurpee. I don't know if you call them a slushy or whatever in the States, but a frozen slush. And we would just sit and we would have this game where it's like, okay, you pick Ferrari, I'll pick Lambo. And how long will it be? And who will see the car first? Like, I don't know if anybody's watching this who's from Western Canada. You may have heard of an area of Calgary called Springbank. I'm right on the border of the city and Springbank. And there are people out there with car collections, just unbelievable. So, yeah.
They're definitely not driving those cars in the winter, though.
No, exactly. So even if there was a Bays, I think it would be really busy in the summer with those exotics. Yeah. But in the winter, it might be a nice, I think the Bays could work here. It could work here because you're also combining with the Bays love of products and tools, right? When we go into our version of the Bays, it's the commercial soap, and just your standard sprayer. Nobody who respects their car will even use that brush. I don't know if you know what. Yeah.
It's sad. It's like sitting against the wall and you're just like, no.
I can't even go to those anymore. I haven't gone to one of those in years because I saw someone with one of those AMG coupes in matte green. This was brand new, and the owner and his son were going to town with the brush, and I was like, I got to leave because I'm going to say something. But yeah, the bays where they actually have the right equipment to do a, no harm wash, that could be really something. That could really revolutionize the scene up here.
I
But
wonder
again,
who we
they would
know
be
who has a
dirty.
lot of money.
They'd be dirty in 10 minutes.
This is true. But I mean, for many, the love of the act is not like it's
Yeah.
for like what you were saying, it's therapy. It's a way to unwind.
Yeah.
You could spend 20 minutes, 2 hours, 2 days. It's just therapy for many of us. So I don't know. Well, when it comes to winter detailing, I feel like you might have a little bit of an advantage having experienced it. What would you say are some of your go-to products for winter detailing?
Well, I definitely love using snow foams, in my garage, which is set up to handle that. But I think I'm probably the only person in the city who has the luxury of performing a full car wash in his home garage. I don't know if there's anyone else who even attempts it. I get a lot of questions about how do you not get all of your walls, covered in soap and water, and it's hard to explain. It's just taken a lot of years to do it in a way that works. But back to products, I would, using something like a foam to loosen that hardened crust is very important. And then having a high quality pressure washer that allows you to get 90 to 95, maybe even 100% some days of that dirt off before you use any kind of wash mitt or a sponge.
Do you use any sort of salt products? Are those essential, or is just a high pH soap sufficient?
Yeah, I've been playing around with different pH level soaps lately. I think I did in the early spring. I featured a Labo Cosmetica video where I used their, you use what is it, the alkaline, and then you wash with the more acidic.
Mm-hmm.
And that, so my big challenge is how do you keep the ceramic coating performing the way you see on YouTube all the time when it's consistently being bombarded by salt that, clings and impedes the performance. So I've been using lots of different snow foams and stuff like that. But there's days where I just muscle memory. I just walk into the garage, I grab DIY Incredible Suds or some other trusty soap that I've used for a long time, and I just perform a quick car wash. And by quick, I mean 2 or 3 hours. And you do that when time permits, but the interiors are very challenging because if you don't have the floor mats that protect the carpet, that salty water gets in. And at first it just looks like wet carpet, but once the water evaporates, you're left with this hard white salt residue. And I've used boiling water, vinegar, lots of different salt eraser is a product. I'm still trying to find the best way to tackle salt that has really,
Crustified.
and some people, like I worked on a black Audi years ago. It was one of my best performing videos. It's an A6, and the owner of that car never really dealt with that salt, and it was about a 4-hour process just in the driver's side to get that salt out. And I think I only got about 75% of it out.
Holy cow. At that
Yeah,
point,
I know
just
what
buy a new mat.
Ivan from DIY Detail would just watch that and die inside watching me spend so much time. But to me, it was a personal challenge. I wanted to really show Daniel that I can get this salt out. But yeah, there are some things I know you've come up against things in the past too, where you're just like, okay, I'll waive.
Buy a new mat.
Yeah, buy a new carpet,
Yeah.
buy a new car.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't go that far. No.
But no, there's no magic products for winter detailing. I think water spot removers are important because they minerally cleanse the paint and allow those coatings to do their jobs. So I use a lot of those in the winter. DIY Details is probably my favorite, WSR.
What would you say are your go-tos for winter protection? Like something that's going to
mhm.
last close to 6 months, but especially in that winter environment, what have you seen works?
Well, honestly, a liquid pro level ceramic coating is the only protection that can even stand a chance. So I did a video in the summer where two friends, Alex, well, you know Alex Dewar,
Mm.
and Sean Gulliher, they came up and we put Ethos Max Graphene on my car.
That's a good
And so
product.
this winter, I'm going to be keeping a good eye on how well that performs. So when I perform a maintenance wash on that coated, my car is an Audi, when my coated Audi, I'm not really using too much as far as like spray sealants or anything to top it off. I just want to see what that coating on its own can sort of handle. But at some point, I'm going to use Resist by Ethos just to give that coating a even more fighting chance against the
Hmm.
winter elements. But um,
The
yeah.
Ethos graphene, I had the first version on my Subaru, and it
Mhm.
lasted around 2.5 years until, like, on the trunk, it started to, show some lines and started to break down. But I was actually very impressed. But I have 34 coatings on my car currently that I'm testing out. It just kind of got away from me. I couldn't
Yeah.
help it. People kept sending me stuff, and I couldn't find the time or the customer's vehicles to like do a dedicated review on it. And I was like, screw it. Like, let's just put them all on there and see what happens. And I
Yeah.
think a couple are already starting to struggle 6 months in, which I'm kind of like, really, 6 months, and we haven't even really had. We just had our first snow the other day, and it was like maybe a coating. So it's definitely gonna be a transparent test, like no toppers, no nothing,
Yeah.
just so yeah, I mean, I would agree with you, a multi-year coating. So you're saying you haven't seen any like ceramic sealants that really are going to pass the test in an environment
Well,
like that.
if you're looking for some cool water behavior, I guess any, you know, quality spray sealant would work, from Turtle Wax to I can't even think of SO02 by Coach Kemi. I've played with those after washing my car, and it does make some difference. But if we're talking real protection in the winter, you have to have a pro level coating. And I mentioned him before, my friend Sean, Gully's Garage. He did sort of like what you did, had a lot of different panels with a lot of different coatings, and he'd always come back to the Fireball coatings as being the most suited for Canadian winters. There's been a little bit of an issue, I think, with getting your hands on Fireball coatings recently. I don't know too much about what's going on there, but there might be some distribution issues. But the DIY detail coatings seem to be getting good reviews from different Canadians that I follow. This Ethos in the past, his first version of graphene coating that he brought out probably 3 or 4 years ago, I used that on a friend's black Audi RS5, and I washed that car for years after, and it was still performing well, and that was a daily driver. So yeah, there's a chance, but 5-8 years, I don't see that happening on a car that's winter driven up here.
As a snow removal pro, what is the safest way to remove snow off of a vehicle?
Okay, well, I don't. I
You're like, we
there's
wait until April.
I get a little. I gotta whisper here. My wife drives the car once in a while. We're a one car family, and if
Okay.
you have the wipers on in my car and you put it in reverse, the rear window wiper works, and
Oh.
I never use it because it gets so muddy back there that when that goes on with no soap or water or anything to lubricate it, it can kind of micro mar the window. So my car gets super dirty. And then if it snows, I'm like, the last thing I'm going to do is move that snow with my hand, with my sleeve, or with a brush,
Mhm.
because you'd be grinding the dirt underneath that snow into your paint. So I usually go down a road just my car might have, well, honestly, my car doesn't often have snow on it because it's always in the garage.
Okay.
And it usually snows at night here. It doesn't
Okay.
usually snow during the day. But if it is out on the driveway, let's say I'm doing a detailing project in the garage and my car's outside, I just use the windshield wipers on the front, and then I drive down my road till all the snow blows off.
So you're the jerk on the highway that's like,
No, I don't go on the highway. I get it off before I hit the major roads. But yeah, once in a while I have to like be very delicate. But I see the teachers at my school after a snowfall outside with their snow brushes, and I'm just like, oh God, I gotta. Yeah, that's why a lot of our cars are swirled up here, is because of snow brushes.
I mean, I have customers that remove it with the broom.
Yeah.
They just, I'm like,
Well, that's what a snow brush is. It's no different than a broom. They're not.
No, I mean, like, well, okay, let me take that back. I see customers that do it with the shovel. Like, they're actually like going with the shovel and just pushing the snow, and then I've got two metal things like scratched down the paint. Cause I'm like,
Well,
okay.
don't you see dollar signs when you see that? Because they're
That
going
I
to
can't
become looking
fix.
for you.
I'm not a body shop. I mean,
Right.
it's literally like down to the metal, and I'm like, okay, let's.
Well, on this same vein, there's a trend here. I don't know if it's down there, of putting Christmas lights on your car.
I've seen it all over social media
Yeah,
now.
it's all
I'm
over
like,
the social media.
The tape is gonna freeze, and it's gonna.
And that little, as you're going down the highway, that little vibrating little light, it's scratching your clear coat. I just know that the detailers see dollar signs when they see those posts.
I saw a reel the other day, two guys that had like Lamborghinis, Maseratis, that they literally put every 2 inches an intricate thing, and there was so much tape, and I was like,
oh, I wouldn't want to even tackle that.
I was like, okay, you got the views for the video, but I hate to have the bill for that detail.
Hopefully they have a tree or what is it, a sap and tar and sap remover by the gallon, because getting that adhesive off is going to be a pain.
Yeah, for those of you that do that, just go ahead and buy a bottle of Ulex from Koshemi. You'll thank me later. So
yeah.
Oh, well, when it comes to having I would say teaching is your primary job.
Oh,
and
it is.
then, detailing, even though it may not necessarily be a business, it is still classified kind of as a side hustle, because I feel like it has allowed you to have the YouTube channel as well, which in a way is another separate business. So what would you say are some of the things that you have learned over the years to avoid within, either side hustle of detailing or YouTube, and some of the things that, you've learned along the way?
Yeah, I was talking with someone recently. I really enjoy making the videos. I love that whole process, but I will say I hate YouTube. I hate having to put a video on YouTube, and I hate having to care whether or not it catches a wave or it performs. It takes the fun out of it for me. But then it sucks me back in, because a video like the last video I did was over a month ago, and it featured Pan's soap and Pan's tire dressing. And that video
has like 10,000 views. Yeah.
It did. And I got all excited again. And then the views just dropped off.
Yeah.
Like, it's like someone hits a switch. Like, they just, okay, Rick's had enough good feelings. Now let's fill him with regret and dread. And he'll be back. And I'm kind of like, I wish
it's kind of like Stockholm syndrome.
It is. That is a perfect way of putting it. I am sympathizing with my captor. And I can think of even harsher metaphors to describe the YouTube relationship with content creators. And I've spoken with some of the best. Like, Pan and I talk often. He works really hard for YouTube. He performs really well for YouTube, and what do you get in return? I get some months I don't even get $100 from my YouTube views. And the videos that do well for me over time are the ones that are based on my driveway and my garage. The most beautiful, and I've got friends who are like, listen, I'm going to bring you the rarest Volkswagen and you're going to get so many views. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
It really comes down to timing and consistency, and I hate being beholden to that. So I've taken a step back. I'm only going to put videos up when I want to make videos. I
You're not
don't
gonna feed the algorithm or feel like, give
Nope.
into it.
Nope. And I'm not going to bust my back making sure I have content. Like, I've been thinking about it, and I've got, if you really want to watch my videos, there's 215 you can go watch. But I'm not going to be able to, like, guys like Pan that do a Wednesday and Saturday video every week for 7 years. I get that he doesn't have a day job. That's his profession. But holy cow, right? You're in
Yeah.
the same boat. You probably wish you could put more content on there, but it's just hard.
I have footage from last winter that I'm still editing. That's how backlogged I am because,
Yeah.
editing a video, you and I are similar, I think, cinematography takes. I think for me, I look at my early videos and I can't even watch them. The audio, the video, it was just so bad. I mean, I've been using my phone from the get go, but I was using a Droid.
You're
As
right.
soon as I stepped up to an iPhone, it definitely did, improve the quality of the videos. Going into cinematic mode, it was like, this is awesome. But for me, like now that I do have better filming capabilities, I want it to, it's art. It is an art form for me, and
Yeah.
I want it to be good. There are times that I feel like how many ways can you recreate washing a car? How
Yeah.
do you make it interesting? And so I can get
Yeah.
I don't want to say a writer's block, but a filmer's block where I'm kind
Yep.
of like, how do I make this interesting? And so then there are times that I time lapse my own videos because I'm like, I'm bored. Like like for people that have been here for 5 years, like I'm
Yeah.
washing another car. Like,
Yeah.
and I love that people tune in every week. And it's become like this community of people that they're like asking about my kids. They're asking about my husband. Like, how did the pork go when you did it the other weekend for Father's Day? It's kind of weird, but at the same time, um, I it takes a lot of time to edit those videos, sometimes anywhere from 5 to 10 hours, maybe even more, just to
Mhm.
edit. And
Yeah.
then you've got to do the video description, the thumbnail. Then you have to monitor the video, answer the questions, because the more engagement you have, the better YouTube will recommend your videos. And so
So it
it's
says.
just
So it says.
so
I don't
this
know
is
about
true.
that.
This is true because I try to answer every single one and I still struggle to get past
Same.
kind of 4 to 5,000 views for my videos, even though
Yeah.
I have almost 29,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And I'll watch my analytics and I'll see that a majority of the people that watch my videos are not subscribers. And I'm like, just
Yeah.
click the dang button. I'm just like,
I
just
know what people have such commitment issues, right? Oh,
yeah.
I don't know.
And I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm thankful for all the views and things like that. But it's like like I'll have one video that is like amazing that I'm just like, wow, that caught me by surprise. And the next one, I will pour my heart and soul into it, and it's like 1,000 views. It's number 10 out of 10 of your videos, and I'm like, oh. And so I think I'm like you. I'm just getting to the point where I'm like, you know what? My family comes first. I do enjoy editing. I really, really do. But I am not going, I used to stress myself out. It was hard on my marriage because I was
Mhm.
denying time with my family to edit. And they were starting to feel like I cared more about this than them. And it created conflict. And so I had to learn to kind of make space and just say, okay, listen, like if I don't get a video out in 10 days, it's okay. My
Yeah.
algorithm is going to be screwed and I will go from like 600 a month to 400 a month to
Yeah.
300 a month. And then you start to be like, "Oh god, no, the number, it's going down,"
Gonna
And
get negative.
yeah, and like all the momentum that you feel like you're building when they give you that stupid up arrow or check symbol,
Yeah.
when you start seeing that, you're like, "Huh." But then it has to come down to like what is your priority in life?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like you. I'm just getting to that point where if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's okay. Like
Yeah.
I'm not meant to be a viral YouTuber, and that's okay. I never went into it to be viral,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And
I-
you nailed it. You nailed it there. I don't know if you're familiar with a term called mansplaining,
yeah.
but I get it. I get men explaining to me what I need to do to up my numbers and everything, and it just gets that even gets more annoying. It's like, listen, I'm going to create the content that I like to create, and I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. And I have that luxury, not being that this is my only, outlet. This isn't my only source of revenue. It's a hobby for me, and I take that as a luxury. But when people tell me that I need to be more this, or I have to do this, or I should try that, I'm kind of like, nah, I'm not your puppet. I know you mean it. The intentions that are positive, but it also gets even more it puts more pressure on me. So now I have to try to, okay, I'm going to outsmart it all. I just like the beauty and art of the detailing process. Always have, always will. That'll always be my focus. I used to not talk in my videos at all, and some people don't. Some people want forensic reviews. There's so many things to go choose from out there, but I think I've found my lane and I'm going to stick in it. And if YouTube is going to make me famous, great. If not, I'm fine. Because honestly, the brands that I love and respect, they respect me. But then part of me also would like to see a video hit 1 million views, one day. Who knows?
Not gonna lie. Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
It'd be really cool, like street creds, just to say to my kids or their friends, be like, yeah, my nieces, they're 16, 15, and 14. And the 15-year-old, every time she sees me, she's like, hey, Chels, how many subscribers do you have now? What's your highest view video? And I'm like, 255,000 views. And she's like, whoa. And I'm like, yeah. Mind you, that video has been up for like 5 years, but it's fine.
Well, my best performing video, and it's probably going to put my kids through college at some point, is me sealing my driveway with an acrylic sealer and a paintbrush. And that video plugs along, 100 views a day since I put it on YouTube 5 years ago.
Yeah.
People seem to like that DIY home stuff. I think the audience that I'm targeting are people that are visually obsessed with the detailing process. And there's probably only 34,700 of them in the world. And I think I found them all. But then you look at people like the Detail Geek who, vacuums a minivan and has 4 million subs. He's good at vacuuming, though. I will say that. He can really, really manipulate that vacuum.
Well, and I think that's where you have to understand your audience and the market that you're wanting to kind of tailor your videos towards. I think that's what I struggled with early on, was not knowing who was going to be watching. I didn't know, is it the pro? Is it the enthusiast? And over the years, I've discovered that there's a larger audience and market for the enthusiast. The professional detailer, they're typically going to become so comfortable with their routine that they're beyond the point of watching YouTube videos to learn, and they might even be going to professional classes. Whereas those who are really just trying to self-educate, maybe beginner detailers, someone wanting to get into the market. So for me, that's kind of the audience that I've gone for. But what would you say to someone who is in a similar situation like you? Maybe they have a career outside of detailing, but they're wanting to get a break, even if it's on the side, even if it's on the weekends or in the evenings, and maybe even do the whole social media thing. Because I feel like a lot of people, that's the ultimate dream, is to start a channel and to go viral. What would you say are some tips on how to do that well, or to manage your time between your other career, your family, and your passions?
Boy, you asked me this at the 57-minute mark, Chelsea.
It's not like we got to cut it off right.
Yeah, in 30 seconds, let me answer. I'll tell you, I think sharing what you do is number one. So I've been very honored that people have messaged me and told me that I've inspired them to start this up as a career, because it's not my career, but they, I guess just the visuals and everything, it resonated. It looks
pretty professional to me.
Yeah, it's got a professional look, but it's not my source of income. I do it as a hobby, and my prices I charge are not professional rates, let me tell you. But if you are starting up and you want to maybe pursue this more seriously, the only thing I see people looking for are like pictures and videos of what you can do. And then finding your style of video. Like, I love your style. There's times where I want to listen to someone telling me what they're doing. And then there's other channels like mine. I like listening to music and watching a car getting spoiled. But if you don't share it, like, how is anyone going to know? And like, if I've had enough contacts with people I know that I could possibly turn this into a profession if I ever had to or wanted to, because I've shared it through videos and I've put pride into the work and the videos. So, like, you picked up your Droid phone back in the day and you made a video, and here you are. You know, you're an influencer in the industry. You're highly respected. It wouldn't have probably come this far this fast if you didn't, you know, capitalize on people's desire to watch videos. People love watching videos. Unfortunately for me, I think a lot of them like watching videos that are 5 to 10 seconds long. I think we've moved in a direction of, you know, the death scrolling.
Yeah.
So I think my audience will not grow as much as I wished it would, because I'm more of a 30-minute video guy. Long form videos, to me, it's a tougher sell than, you know, slick TikTok style videos. But that's my advice, is like, you got to share what you do. You have to share the results. You got to share your passion. And if you don't, no one's going to know you're doing it.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, when it comes to getting a break in social media and things like that, it really is a little bit of a gamble. You know, nothing is a guarantee in life that things are going to take. And for those that put themselves out there and are struggling, or maybe feeling like it doesn't take off the way they want, would you have any words of wisdom or advice on those that maybe they don't see the growth that they're expecting from their social media platforms?
Yeah. I'm not the guy to give you that advice, because I've got this great career of teaching that I always can fall back on. So I'm not, maybe I could have taken more risks. Maybe I could have tried different formats. Like I said, I like my videos this way. Maybe had I taken some of that expert advice from men, I don't know. Who do you have in your life that you could go to bounce these questions off of? You know, if I've had many conversations with people about what I thought would help them. I hope it did. Just connecting with people and taking risks and putting yourself out there. But I think there's so many people, I think, get caught up in, well, I can't make a video that rivals these established YouTubers, so I'm never going to start. I'm never even going to take a first attempt. Well, you've surrendered before the battle's even begun. So just do it. Pull out that iPhone 14 and make a video. That's what I did. My first video was like 2 minutes of dubstep music over me washing a car mat on my stainless steel wash mat wall. And I put it on YouTube just to see how YouTube works. You know, like I didn't know, like, how do you get a video on? And I had 80 subscribers by the end of the week. And I was like, what is going on?
You people have nothing to do.
I can't believe you watched that. It was so dark, you couldn't even tell what I was doing. My videos are still dark, but at least you can hopefully see what I'm doing. But you got to start somewhere. Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree. My first one was, I don't even know how long it was. I think it might have been 15 minutes, but it was showing a Max Shine rotary, and it was poorly edited, poorly filmed, but it brought me to here, you know. And I'm still learning. I'm still evolving, you know, with filming and things like that. And I think that's one of the things that I enjoy most about it, is just how I've grown and how I can kind of learn. I learn from every single person's videos. So I think for me, you know, the advice that I would give someone who maybe are struggling is just, you know, make sure you know, like, the audience. Make sure you, you know, I'm not going to say we've got to copy people, but find people who inspire you. Like Chromatic Garage, he like inspires me as a creator. You got to go?
Nope. You just said Chromatic Garage, and I'm going to wear my new Chromatic. This is my Chromatic Garage. This man, Mike, has inspired me over the years. So I ended up buying his hat the other day. Like you said,
He is a cool guy, and he
find
doesn't.
your inspirations.
Yeah, but like he doesn't talk in his videos, but he has some
Once
phenomenal
in a while he
cinematography.
talks, but
He does. You're right, but a
he's
majority
an
of the
enigma.
time, yeah. And I mean, I love, like, he gives me juice, to create, different channels. So find people that inspire you, that motivate you to maybe try something new, and just keep at it. You never know what might take, because algorithm.
Yeah, and I don't know. This year's been a weird year. I know you know that. Like, there's been a lot of, I don't know, strife, and there's been some controversy. And one thing that that's turned me off a bit is when pro level detailers take out their frustrations on influencers. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's the algorithm on Instagram has put me on this path, but I'm seeing like why be critical of a content creator? Like, I don't.
In a way, we all are.
Yeah.
We're all talking about the products. Even if you're making a post, you're a content creator. You don't have to make a video. You could do an Instagram reel, be like, show 4 pictures. You're a content creator because you're putting something out there for someone to absorb.
I just think people you're going to start putting yourself out there. You're going to inevitably, someone's going to come along and criticize you. And that can hurt.
It can.
That can hurt. I don't care how, like, I'm a very confident person in life, but it's crazy how one YouTube comment, I'll be like doing something later in the day and I'll be replaying the comment over and I should have said this. It's what happens when you put yourself out there. And for those that don't put themselves out there, but criticize those that do, I would just say, you try it.
Yeah.
If you can do better, I want to see it.
Yeah.
I love seeing more content. So obviously you've got the desire to put up content, go do it. So yeah, don't let that criticism, if it comes your way, deter you from doing what you want to do.
I just learned the very easy thing of delete. I don't dwell on it, because I used to. I have ADHD, and one of the things that I struggle with is hypercriticism or hypersensitivity. And you cannot be that if you want to have a YouTube channel. Like, you have to have a little bit of a thick skin and just be able to take those critical comments.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people tell me to go kill myself. I've had people tell me, that I am an idiot and that I should never be touching a car. And I'm just like, delete, And I mean, even my son is 13. He wanted to be on YouTube to do gaming. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for you to be exposed to that, and it's not necessarily, if you are someone who's very sensitive to criticism, you've got to toughen up, or just learn to just let those things go. So it can be a hard world, but I think there's more good within it though than a negative, because the people that we all have very similar followers.
Yeah.
There's like probably 40,000, it's probably very big, but there's like, they follow the same channels and they're all very supportive. And so in that aspect, I say that my community, our communities, they're some of the kindest, most respectful. It's always just that one person that maybe they're having a really bad day.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give them grace because they were having a bad day and took it out on me. It's okay.
Yeah. I can't say enough good things about the people I've met through this.
Yeah.
You included. Like I did a post when I finally met Pan face to face at the Chicago event. And I used the Instagram track about you want to know who is going to support you. It's the people that your online friends. And it's very true. When you tap into a community like this, you make some really, really meaningful relationships.
Yeah.
And just keep going. Keep going doing what you do.
So I always end my podcast with this question.
Uh-oh.
If you could go back in time and give your younger self some advice, what would it be? And it doesn't necessarily have to be about detailing. It could just be in life, period.
Dang, Chelsea. Good. Should have watched your podcasts more.
We're only like 5 or 6 episodes in. It's fine.
You know, not everything comes easy. You're going to make decisions that you regret. But trust yourself, and yeah, it sounds cliche, but trust yourself and just go for it. Like a lot of times I think we're the only people standing in our own way. It's the worry and the nervousness and the not knowing how things will come out. Trust yourself. That's my final answer.
Okay. Well, Rick, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us a little bit of what you do, how your detailing career kind of evolved, as well as with social media. I think for those of you that maybe you are wanting to kind of do detailing as a side hustle, or maybe even, just start out into social media, hopefully you've been encouraged by Rick, and his story. If you guys have any questions for Rick, put your questions in the comment section down below. Rick, how can people find you if they want to get in touch with you on social media? What are your channel names?
Okay, well, basically just type in RAD Garage. And if you want to contact me, every video I put a lot of information in. I take a lot of pride in my video descriptions. So just head to the video description on any of my videos and you'll see my Instagram channel, my email address if you ever want to ask me a question. I'm attentive to any kind of questions that come my way. So fire away. Let me know if you have any questions, comments.
Well, thank you so much, Rick. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your friendship. And hopefully you guys will tune in next week. We are going to be having, I'm trying to think,
who do you got next week?
Nick Rudder. I literally have a list of everyone. But hopefully you guys will tune in next week. We're going to be having Nick Rudder on. We're going to be asking him everything McKees 37, graphene. If you guys have questions for Nick, let me know your questions in the comment section down below. So he'll be able to answer your questions for you guys. But thank you guys for tuning in. We hope you are having a wonderful evening, and we will see you guys in the very next podcast. Thank you so much.
All right. Stay rad, Chelsea.
You too, Rick.